Hello, welcome once again to Senior Focus. I'm your host, Bill Adams. Senior Focus is a show designed for adults over the age of about 50 or so. But if you're younger than that, feel free to stay tuned because we're going to be talking about some volunteer activities that you could participate in the Mahoning Valley, get involved with. Before we get started, though, I want to thank Greg Roten. He's nice enough to work on the show with Armstrong's Channel 20 and 100. Also, thanks to Keith Kaiser. He's the director here at the Davis Visitor Center in Mill Creek Park. And as you can tell, we're outside today, and it's a beautiful location. And we certainly encourage you to come to the park and join in the activities here and support your park. We're going to be talking today about a program for mentors. It's the YSU Senior Youth Mentorship Program. And we have the founder, who's directly next to me on my left as you look, Dr. Joseph Lyons, right? And his assistant, Shelby Pontere. I think I got it right, and Shelby could correct me. But and then Renee Johnson is also with us, and Renee is with OSU's Extension Office in Canfield, and she's going to be talking about some new possibilities for mentorship in the Mahoning Valley, and joining with Dr. Lyons. Welcome to everybody.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Thank
And
you for having us.
why don't I start with you, Dr. Lyons? How did this idea start? Where did you come? I think you were the sort of the originator of this. Tell about the beginnings.
Well, I don't want to take it too long, but I was telling Renee when I was 12 years old, my father was an alcoholic, and so he was hardly ever around other than the bars, and the milk truck came by. Now, people like Shelby who are too young, they don't remember a milk truck, but all of us do. Okay, and the guy came by and he was delivering milk, and he said, and I was a little boy, and I can't imagine me being a little boy, but I was a little boy, and I came out, and he said, you want to get in the truck? So I got in the truck, and we talked a little bit, and then he said, you want to ride the truck down the street? So we did that, and so then he started to know me, and I got to know him, and he started to teach me things. Okay. And so he was my mentor for about 3 years, and his name was Leif Decker, and he was a milkman, and he lived in the same town, and he was like a pillar of the community, but he was a milkman. He wasn't a college professor. He wasn't a television broadcaster.
Right.
He was a milkman, but he was a solid guy. Anyway, so as I grew up, I said, well, when I was 35, I had a job, I had a family, too many responsibilities. I was working 70 hours a week. Said there's no way I can do all this, and so I can't go into big brothers, big sisters. And I had 2 daughters, and so I wanted to sort of help the young men out. But when I got a little older, what happened was, like when I turned 65 and now 67, I said, I got a little time on my hands. And I know the other guys that I know that retired, that they had more time on their hands. And I said, what am I going to do? Am I going to play golf? Well, I'm lousy at that. So I said, well, maybe. Now, when I was doing this, my good friend Danny Sassine works at Safe House. Okay. And Safe House has a program, and it's really a residential facility for males and females from 11, but it really concentrates on a little bit older ages, and 11 to 18. And the light bulb went off. I said, I need something to do. Here's a program. I'm a senior. Let me put seniors with kids and make this thing happen. So
that's the basic idea, is to take seniors, and what age are you looking at?
Well, really, we're looking at 14 to 17 because I'm a professor at the university. I'm really associate professor. But I teach at the university. I have opportunities there to help kids get into school.
Right. And
I'm constantly working with young people like Shelby. And so I think I sort of understand them, even though I'm 50 years older than her. But so I had an opportunity to do this. And so the opportunity came, and I think the key here is that we have opportunities to get young people into the university. We have opportunities with Gateway Community College. We have opportunities for my graduate assistant, who couldn't be here today, through the unions. 2 unions we're working with, and we're really working on the 3rd one right now. So, and we also have affiliated organizations like Renee represents, which we'll talk about a little later.
Sure.
So
Well, what about on the other end, on the volunteer end? What ages are you looking to draw the volunteers from?
Yeah, so we're looking for anything or anybody over 50, male and female. We would like to concentrate on the over 60 group a little bit because they have a little bit more time, and the 50 age group are still pretty busy and so forth. So,
well, that's a good nutshell description again, and we'll go into the details. But if you're out there and you're over 50 and you want, as you were saying, well, what do I do with the free time I might have? If you're bad at golf, like I am, this is a great program to get involved with, to really change maybe a young person's life.
Right, and we also do some interesting activities. Bill, you and I met bowling through Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Right.
And here's this guy sitting next to me, and he was a better bowler than I was, but that didn't matter. And then so we were there with our big, you were a big brother and I was a big brother, and so we put this together, and so there's opportunities. And instead of sitting home and watching reruns of Archie Bunker, then join this group and see what you can do.
Sure. And Shelby, you're actually at the office at YSU with Dr. Lyons, is that right?
Correct.
And you wanted to describe a little bit of some of the work that you do with the program?
Sure. I started about 3 or 4 weeks ago. One of the professors in my program at the university had some connections with Dr. Lyons, so kind of had the interview, got in. What I do basically, I'm kind of just like an assistant for Dr. Lyons. I do a lot of his organizing, which is a task in itself. But I get a lot of calls from mentors that want to come in, want to be a mentor, so I kind of steer them in the right direction, get them going on the steps they need to, their background checks. Strong Campbell, which we do, is just a survey kind of to categorize their interests to better match them with the mentees. So a lot of pushing for the mentors, getting them on the right path so they can get set up with a mentee.
Right. And the key here is that an individual, say a female, decides that she wants to become a mentor. She doesn't know what we're going to do, what we're offering, how it works, and all that kind of stuff. So Shelby sort of helps them along, talks, this is the meeting we're going to set up, this is the training we're going to do, how it all works together.
Well, and we're going to talk next with Renee, but you could, as one possible future collaboration, but then we can come back to your current collaborations, I guess. Renee, you want to talk a little bit about, you're relatively new to maybe joining to see how you might fit into this. You want to describe where you work right now and what you do?
I work for the Mahoney County Extension Office for Ohio State University's 4-H program. It's funded by the Department of Juvenile Justice in Washington, D.C., and what the program is funding is pairing children up with mentors, and our target ages are between the age of 10 and 14. We're looking to find mentors for them, and one of the reasons why I'm looking to partner with somebody like Dr. Lyons is because it's been very difficult in the urban Youngstown area to get people to commit to being mentors. A lot of them say they want to do it, and then the attrition jumps in and they're gone again. So we're looking to partner with an entity like YSU who has people who are very interested in being mentors. And then additionally, we have a lot of people at the universities who are academically sound, who are studying in different areas, and some of the kids are interested in some of the things that they may be doing and perhaps looking at that as a career, someday. So that would be a good opportunity for them to learn something about what their interests are.
So you're working with 10 to 14, and again, is this sort of to, as Dr. Lyons is saying, it's not just for college, but they're like the trade unions, and they're Eastern Gateway Community College, but preparing young people for something ahead of, like, when they get to be 18. Where do you go in life? Is that kind of the genesis, or what you're thinking about?
Well, 4-H, Ohio State University's program has an array of different projects and programs that the children can get engaged with, and they have online resources for the mentors to to use in order to find the different types of materials and programs and activities and competitions and things. So there's an array of things that the children can get engaged in. That as a program assistant, I also train under the YSU, Ohio State University's training program. We train the mentors, we orientate the parents, we orientate the children, and we have all kind of activities that are available for the mentors to participate with the children in, and eventually establish what we call 4-H chapters in specific projects and programs.
And what about some of the other early collaborations because this has been going out, how long has this been going?
We had 1 year right now,
okay.
but we're going into our second year if the Youngstown Foundation approves it. What we have is we have spent half of the money, and they're gonna, I think on Tuesday they're gonna give us a no-cost extension.
Okay.
And that's, that'll get us a second year. Besides, I need to get the work out of this lady here. She just started, and so that's where we're going. Or let me go back to your question. Your question was, well, what agencies are you working with, and why? Well, first of all, Youngstown State University is a university, and that's their purpose in life. And the problem here is that when I started this program, it was an idea.
Yes.
Well, I get a lot of ideas, as my friends will tell you, but the problem is sometimes fools rush in, and so I needed to have somebody who really knew what they were doing. Well, Big Brothers Big Sisters has been around about 125 years.
Right.
And so they have all kinds of research. They have a lot of good staff, and we've been working with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Mahoney Valley, not Mahoney County, because it includes Trumbull, but it's Mahoney Valley.
Right.
And we've also been working with Safe House Residential, which is across Wick Park from the university.
Okay.
So those two organizations are already working with youth, and they're doing the job. But what they were missing was some mentors, and they're especially missing senior mentors. So I sort of think that those of us who have made it to 67 years old, you're not quite there yet, sir.
Well, I'm getting there.
But those of us who have made it this far, somehow we survived. And the thing is, I still remember when I was 17. I try to get the young girls to remember that I was 17 once.
We all were, yeah.
They don't believe it, but anyway. So that's the organizations we're working with right now. We also just made an arrangement with Mahoney County Career and Technical Services. We have a mentor who's with the Sheriff's Department. He's semi-retired now. His name is Dale Reinhardt. He's doing a terrific job, and he's working with one of the youth, and he's working through the police academy. Dale's a 50-year veteran of the police academy.
Okay.
And so he's working with this young person. His name is Tyler, and I can't tell you his last name, but Dale said I could use his whole name. So anyway, probably one of these days you may have Dale on here. So
okay.
But he's very good. But you have to say, when you're talking to him, you have to say police officer, because I call him a cop, and he was a little angry. So you don't want to make those policemen angry.
No, you want to stay on the good side.
Right.
Well, the story you told at the beginning about your experience with sort of a surrogate father figure, I guess. That's what we're kind of looking at here. And again, and anybody could feel free to jump in, but I think that's, one of the things that most areas of the country are facing, and Youngstown and Mahoney County are no different. There are many people that are from broken homes. The father or mother might not be around, and so there's a great need for that parental,
That's true.
I guess, oversight. And in your case, and I had a similar case. I mean, my father was kind of distant, and he had problems also, with drinking, and so there were other males in the neighborhood. When I recall, that would, or baseball coach or somebody like that, or so that's kind of what you're looking for is somebody to step in because there's a void, I guess. Right.
And the key is, like Renee works with people, our children down to the age of 11. Well, we need to focus. We have very limited resources. We need to focus on where we can make a contribution, and we have resources relevant to the university and to the community colleges and the unions. So And I think, Bill, you know that one of the big indicators of success is getting a job.
Sure.
Right,
sure.
and so and keeping that job. So all those places help you to get jobs, and that's where we're going.
Now, Shelby, with your experience of talking with some of the potential mentees, right? Is that the word?
And mentors.
And mentors.
Yeah,
Oh,
Shelby
mentors. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
right.
work with the mentors.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some of the questions that people have, or what are some of the things that they should be prepared for? Say they, well, at this point, this might be, we should have done this earlier, but where can people contact you if they're interested?
Okay.
Is there a phone number?
Sure. My phone number, I'm Dr. Lyons. I'm at the university. My number is 330
Okay.
941 3658.
Okay.
That's 330-941-3658. Now, for the people who know the internet, which some seniors do and some don't, but the children definitely do. I'm JP Lyons, Lyons at YSU.edu.
That's pretty simple.
And when you get into me, I'll get it over to Shelby, and she'll do a good job.
Well, what I was trying to get to was, what are some of the things that people need to be prepared for? I think you talked about a background check. Just walk us through the process. What
Sure.
would somebody, if they call in?
Sure. The first step that we do is our background check. It's completely funded by us, so it's of no cost to the mentors. We do a full background check. After that, we do what is called the Strong Campbell Inventory. And that's kind of just like an online survey. It takes about 5-10 minutes, and it categorizes the mentor's interests, what their likes are, dislikes, and that we also send our mentees through that process. That way we can take the mentor's interests and kind of better match them with the mentee's interests, just to get a good pair.
And just, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's sort of like if somebody's more outgoing versus an introvert.
Sure,
Do
exactly.
you like to go to sports, or do you like music, or all these
Yep,
things? Yeah, okay.
exactly.
Sorry.
From then, so we have the background check and the Strong Campbell. That's kind of our two initial steps that we want to get through. From then, it's smooth sailing from there. We take whichever agency that the mentor decides to work with, Big Brother, Big Sister, Safe House. From then, the mentees at those two agencies will go through the background and the Strong Campbell as well. And once they get paired, it's 12 hours on average a month that we want the mentees to spend with their mentor. And we'll give a call or an email every now and then just to see how things are going. There's no set costs, there's no expenses. Everything is kind of up to the mentee what they want to do. We have tours at the campus, like Crash Day, that you can take if they're more of an educational steer. If the mentee is interested in vocational purposes, we are linked with the unions. So kind of up to the mentee and the direction that they want to go with.
Now, Renee, you again are working with the OSU Extension Office,
Yes.
and you're under a federal grant
Yes.
currently. And what is this working again with children in homes where there's maybe somebody lacking in the home, like a parent is not there?
It's targeting at-risk youth in the urban Youngstown and surrounding areas, because it covers the whole Mahoney County area. We're not Mahoney Valley. We're only dealing with Mahoney County. But our program is pretty much set up similar to what she's saying. We do a mentor and mentee profile as well to try to match them up. And I think that that's a really good a way of matching them up, because if you're doing your profile with the mentees and they're wanting someone younger,
Sure.
we're dealing with the younger population, because we'll take mentors from 18 and up. Because we feel that the 18-year-olds can be a mentor for some of the 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14-year-olds as well. So we'll take them even younger. So if you have students in the university who need to do volunteer work and would like to be mentors, then we can be referred, refer each other back and forth, because there are some people that are our age that would like to mentor kids too.
Sure.
So I think it's a really good exchange.
So again, this is open. What we're talking about today is volunteering basically in the community with children. And again, Dr. Joseph Lyons had a program up for about a year or so.
Right.
And your program, you're looking specifically more for 50 and over.
Right.
But again, as I said at the beginning, if you're under 50, there are other, Big Brothers
Right.
takes any age, I think,
Right.
over
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
21. I might
Right.
be wrong, but
18
and up. So, what are some of the other mentors in some of their professions? Can you talk about who you have? And
Okay,
what
so
areas?
we have a person, and I'll just use first names.
Sure.
Cynthia is she runs a youth camp and in over by Hubbard, and she and her husband run this on a regular basis, and she generally has been doing this for a long time, but she came to us because she meets these people and she would like to get them to college or something like that, and so this was a good marriage between the two programs. And so Dale Reinhardt, we've already met, and he said I could use his last name. Reverend Catherine, I'll just use that, and Reverend Catherine is, she's a reverend, and so she works with people all the time, and she realizes that there's problems with youth, and so she's another one. Maureen, who's a social worker at the university, she does work. So we have, I think, Shelby, I think we're up to about 15 people who are on our list that we're working with in terms of mentors, and we have almost an unlimited amount of mentees. They're the children who are in need.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's always a greater need
Right.
in the community.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. When I teach young people like Shelby, I teach them in terms of business courses. I said, you want to get rich. What the key here is find a need and meet it.
Okay.
Well, this need is right there, and I think with the people we're trying to contact, they can do some good. So,
And you're working with both people that are still working,
Right.
but also, or you have some retirees who.
well, I have some retirees and several people who are right on the brink of retiring, and they're trying to figure out, are they going to watch TV? Are they going to just do gardening, or what are they going to do? And they're lousy golfers like you and me.
Well, let's go back to that, because as far as the time commitment, you could still be a lousy golfer,
Right.
go out and golf,
Oh, yeah.
and do this, right?
Yeah, because the other thing is that the young people, some of them are good golfers, but some of
Right.
them are lousy like you and me.
But I
so-
mean, as far as the time commitment,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
how many hours?
Well,
would you
it's
say?
12 hours a month, but
Okay.
people sort of get a little afraid of that. But it goes pretty fast. Like Kyle, who is my mentee, I'm his big, and he's the little from Big Brothers Big Sisters. We go to football games. He plays football, and I play football, or I did, and so we have that in common. And we also go to basketball games, and then we just go to other things like in Mill Creek Park this Sunday. We're going to go on a hike
Okay.
because I need to lose some weight, and we'll do that. And so that's what just find the things that you have in common. I'm not much of a fisherman, but I like doing it, and he has never gone fishing, so we're going to try that, and we'll learn together.
Sure. Well, and again, going back to your original story about how you were with the milk ban,
Right.
and maybe you could talk a little bit about, again, and this gets to the purpose of the program. We've described some activities you can do, like hikes and things like that, and golfing, but you also want to show people at work, right?
Right.
Is that part of this? It's
Well-
like going out with somebody maybe to see what they do.
Well, when Kyle was over, he was at Crash Day, which Shelby mentioned. And Crash Day is the terrific thing at the university. It takes you to all kinds of departments that are really opportunity. But the children are a little afraid to do it because they don't want to embarrass themselves or whatever. But there's nothing embarrassing. They give you lunch. You meet other children and so forth. So, but when Kyle comes over, I take him to my office,
Sure.
and I tell him what I do and how I do it, and then he asked me a question. What did he say? He said, well, do you have to come to class every day? I said, well, I teach graduate students. You don't have to come at all, but you better pass or you're out.
It's a good idea, right,
Right,
to
right.
show up. Yeah.
Right.
Well, this kind of reminds me of my wife is an attorney downtown, and one time we had our niece's kids. I was sort of taking them around, showing them the Butler art, and we went to Mill Creek Park. But at the end of the day, I took them to her office, and they saw all the papers piled up and stuff, and they said, "Boy, she's got a lot of work to do." I said, "Yeah, but it's a nice job though." But taking people to the place of employment is key.
I've done that with some of the children I've worked with for the county. They've gone to several different entities, the incubator, the radio station, different places like that, so they can see the actual people in action, what they do on a day-to-day basis.
That's a great idea to take people out there, to the children out to the community. Was it Kurt? Is that the gentleman?
Kurt Welsh is my graduate assistant. He had another appointment today, but he's been very instrumental in making arrangements for us to be with the unions.
Right.
And so we've set up arrangements with the unions. We have the unions on our steering committee. We also, Kurt's family is very politically oriented, so he's brought in the politicians. And you know that the politicians, and Renee, you know that you got to get them involved because they control the funding sources. So
right. Well, or they can be influential in getting funding.
I haven't had Hillary here yet, but I'm trying.
Well, she'll probably come by in the election. But that raises a point. Now, you mentioned the Community Foundation, so that's a funder right now.
Youngstown Foundation is our supporter right now.
Okay. Are you looking at other funding
Yeah, we're
sources?
looking at the Kellogg Foundation. We're also planning, if we can work out with Renee and the other organizations, Kurt, who couldn't be here today, he was a former director of an organization in town that Youngstown people would know called Task. And so Task still exists today, and we think we can convert this into an agency. And not only that, once this gets larger, it'll overwhelm Kurt, myself, and Shelby. And so, even though she's very organized and whatever, it's still going to overwhelm us. And so what you really need is you need to get the mentor with the mentee, and then you need a case management organization, because the case management organization fills in the gaps that happen.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah, because there's obviously a lot of paperwork and well, Shelby would know about that, right?
Yes.
You're keeping track of all that for now,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah. Well, is there anything that we haven't covered, or do you want to maybe another success story that we haven't talked about?
No, I think the key here is that if at all you have an interest, we'd like to talk with you.
Okay.
And she's very pleasant to talk to. We got Renee and another organization, and I think we've put it together in the last year, and I think we have all the right pieces, and we'd love to talk with you. And if you're really good at golf, you can show me some things.
Well, why don't we give out the number one last time?
Okay.
I don't know. You want to do
Okay.
that?
So it's the phone number is 330-941-3658.
Okay.
Okay, and try to remember that number, because if you call YSU, they're going to say, "What are you talking about?" Because it's YSU is so big, but it's 330-941-3658, and it's JP Lyons, Lyons at YSU.edu.
And this is the YSU Senior Youth Mentorship Program. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill, for giving us this opportunity.
Sure. I hope some people will think about this and contact your office and get started on that. Again, you've been watching Senior Focus. I'm your host, Bill Adams. We come to you a couple times each month through Armstrong's Channel 20 and 100. And thank you to Greg Roden. And thanks to Keith Kaiser, who allows us to use the beautiful Davis Visitor Center, and in this case, the patio out back, looking over Lake Glacier in Youngstown. It's a beautiful sight, and come out and enjoy your park. And otherwise, thanks to you for watching.